Welcome to day 2 of my first national Formula 2000 race at Road America. Today was qualifying, where I faced much adversity, but persevered, doing the best I could given the circumstances. I showed up in the morning to a very wet track, so I threw on my only set of old wet tires, hoping they still had enough life in them to be competitive for qualifying. Then I got some help from my gorgeous girlfriend to set my mirrors up before heading on the track to qualify. When I got out there, I immediately started having gearbox problems. If you didn't know, this is an H-pattern stick shift formula car. My problem was when I put the car into gear, sometimes it would pop back out, costing me a half a second or more, ruining my lap. Unfortunately, I can't go back into the pits to try and fix it. We only have about 15 minutes to qualify, so every lap counts out here. The most difficult part of qualifying is staying away from other drivers, because when you battle someone, you lose a lot of time. I was constantly catching slower drivers and needed to pass them, ruining those laps. Then when I did get a clear lap, my gearbox problem would almost certainly ruin it. Even with these problems, I still managed to get a few laps that were good enough to earn second place out of over 20 cars in class, only losing first to the reigning F2000 national champion Brandon Dixon, who recognized that the track was dry enough to run slicks, allowing him to be 5 seconds faster than anyone else. Here you see him flying past me. After qualifying, an official told me that my car was too loud and I'd be disqualified if I didn't fix it. This is impossible since all of us are running straight pipe exhaust and have the same engines. I argued a bit, but I had to make them happy regardless, so I bought a bent pipe and clamped it to my exhaust for the second qualifying session. In this clip, I get a much better exit and line through the kink than the driver ahead of me, but I'm barely gaining on him. It took me to this point to realize that there's something else going on with the car. I felt like the engine was falling flat at high RPMs. That means I felt down on horsepower, which some of you predicted in my last video. We weren't able to diagnose the problem until after this weekend, but I ended up having a bursted fuel pump hose, meaning not enough fuel was being injected into the engine. I later called my engine builder and they told me with the fuel pressures I was running, I was down 10 to 15 horsepower all weekend, which is a lot in a car that only has 170 horsepower. This didn't mean I was doomed to have horrible results, but it did mean that I would not be afforded the privilege of making any mistakes, or the drivers around me would be able to easily capitalize on my power disadvantage. I once again didn't get a single clean lap with traffic and gearbox problems, putting me in 6th place for tomorrow's race. Stay tuned for that video in the next few days. Thank you for watching.